Hello and welcome. This is Heidi's Homemade and this is Flosstube episode number 47. It has been way longer than I anticipated since my last video. I had planned to do 2 weeks like usual, and that did not happen for a few reasons. One is my webcam that I have been using for several years now hasn't been working properly, and so I was a little leery about doing a video and having to splice it a lot, because it seemed like anytime the wire got bumped a little bit, or like if I set something down on the table and it shook a little bit, it disconnected the video. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to continually splice videos. And then when I was pretty much ready to do another video, I got a cold and I wasn't feeling good. I sounded horrible. Summer colds are the worst. I think it actually might have been a little touch of the flu, but I'm not really sure. It didn't behave like my typical cold would. But allergies are like really high right now here in Arizona. So it could be a mixture of a bunch of things. And I'm still have a little bit of having to blow my nose more often than normal, and stuff like that. But otherwise I'm pretty much fine. So I got a new webcam. This is the first time I have done a video like this with it, obviously. And I can already tell that it's darker than what I would like. So my next thing is probably going to be some kind of a light to help with that. I do depend a lot on natural lighting. I do live in Mesa, Arizona, so there's a lot of natural lighting. So I'm sitting in front of my living room window and there's a lot of light coming in. I also have a light on in front of the window to kind of have light coming this way. And it's still kind of shadowy over here and a little bit over here. So I'll see if I can't play with that and fix it. I do have an old ring light that I'm not sure how I would set it up, but I might be able to use that. I just don't like doing a ton of stuff to get this set up, because I had to take it down and put it up and take it down, put it up, take it down, put it up. And it will get even worse if my plans for the future come into play and I have a smaller space to work with. It's going to be even worse to have to put things up and take things down all the time. So this is kind of, I guess, experiment episode. So, it is July 16th of 2024, and school for me, as far as teaching goes, starts tomorrow. July 17th is the first day of school for the school district that I am working with this year. So that was another, I need to get this done before school starts. So here I am. I'm also in the process of dismantling my craft room and moving everything, basically going through everything and deciding what to keep, what I don't need anymore that I can either donate or put on Marketplace or something. So there's that. I need my second bedroom because a boyfriend's son is going to be living with us in about a week. So I need to have the extra space cleared out so that he can have a bed and everything up there. So yeah, I've been busy. But I guess I do have quite a bit of stuff to show you, because it has been a little over a month since the last time that I filmed, and I don't think I've ever gone quite this long between filming, except for when I really first started. And I really hope I'm not going to do that again, because like every week I'm like, I need to do a video, and I just didn't, for whatever reason. But I have one small finish. It's not fully finished, but I have one small finish. I have a couple things to show. I have several whips. I do have a little bit of haul, I guess you could say. Some new patterns that I have obtained. So, yeah, I think for now that's it. We're gonna jump right in. So we'll go with the finish first. This one was close to a finish last time I think I showed you. I'm not sure. I will post the last time you saw it up here so you can see. But this one is Strawberry Fields by October House Fibers. Oh my gosh. I have the pattern. It's here. It is October House Fiber Arts. There we go. This one, you've probably seen a lot of over the last year, I guess. It was a sale for a while. I did not start it with the sale. I think I've said this many times, but in case you're new to the channel, I didn't start it with the sale because it was on back order and I wasn't worried about starting it when everybody else was starting it. But I did like it, so I got it. I did do the Honey Faire, which is right there, that I finished as a flat fold. So I might do the same with this, although I wasn't super happy with the way the flat fold came out, so I'll probably adjust how I do that. But I'm not really sure how this is going to be finished at the moment. This is on a random piece of 18 count Aida. It's a Amazon fabric. So it's a little on the stiffer side, but the more I used it, the softer it did get. And I still obviously need to press it and put it in my bin of finishes that are waiting to be fully finished. I mostly used the DMC conversion on this one. I did change a couple colors just to what I had at the time. That made sense. So I know that I added like white. I think it was 3865 probably. I'm not sure. Instead of, I think it was supposed to be like a creamy color. But I like how it came out. And very true, that strawberry is no joke. So I think that took me the longest amount of time to finish was the strawberry. Obviously, because that is the biggest part of the pattern. So, finish! Yay! And then, moving on from that, I talked last time about wanting to make some old pillowcases, embroidered pillowcases that I have, into project bags so that they would actually get some use. So I do have a couple to show you about for that. The first one is this one. This is one that I stitched probably 20 or so years ago. I think I was a teenager when I stitched this one. And I have the other one that goes with it. And I will most likely make that into a project bag and probably put it on my Etsy. I don't really need two of the same project bags. That or I'll make it into a project bag and give it away or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is one that I stitched myself many moons ago. And I paired it with a really pretty floral that kind of complements the colors of the pillowcase. So yeah. It's a lot of lazy daisy stitches. There's a couple French knots. Well, I guess more than a couple because all the centers of the flowers are French knots. And some cross stitching So there's the first one. And then the second one that I did is pretty much all cross stitching except for straight stitching. This one is another one that I did around the same time frame. I would have been in my teens, I think, when I did this one. And I literally just sewed right through the stitches because why not? Because it was a little bit bigger, wider than I wanted it to be, so it almost hit exactly side to side, so I just left it like that. I wasn't worried about it. Plus, I figured it'd probably help the stitches stay intact. So if you're wondering how I did this, I put fusible interfacing on the back of both of these to make sure that the stitches stayed as tight as possible. And then cut it to size and added fabric to make it work. And then I just finished this one with a plaid inside, which I thought complemented the bright green really well. So those two I have made. Those are for myself, more of an experiment to see if I liked how they turned out than anything else. I really like the repurposing of the pillowcases because I don't use them as pillowcases. They just sit in my closet. I actually had OxyCleaned a whole stack of them because they had started to yellow because they hadn't been used in forever. So I'm like, why aren't they just sitting in a closet collecting dust? And decided to make something of them. So there's that. I guess next is going to be going into whips, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whips, I think. I feel like I haven't stitched a ton, but I've stitched on several things, and I feel like I haven't finished a lot, but I also realized the other day I was talking to one of my Stitchy friends at my Saturday library meetups about how I haven't had a lot of finishes lately, but then again, a lot of my whips that I've been working on and kind of giving some focus on are larger pieces. So last year I feel like I had a ton of finishes, but I also feel like a lot of the stuff that I did last year were smaller pieces, so that would make sense that I finished a lot more. But I don't know. It is what it is. It will get done when it gets done, and I still stitch fairly quickly when I do get to stitch, so there's that. The first whip that I'm going to show you is Heartstring Samplery's Dream Journal Gothic. This is the Edgar Allan Poe one, and it says, deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. Edgar Allan Poe. One of my favorite authors. So this, of course, I kind of gravitated to. I don't know if I'll get any of the other ones. And I talked about this the last time I showed it. So I changed the pattern a little bit. Oh, I was working on this. The last time I worked on this was at the library, and so when it was time to go, it was time to go. And my needle is still like in there and like half stitched. Let me get that pulled through to the back side so you're not looking at thread. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. So this is, let me look here, the name of the fabric is Stormy Night. It's a 40 counts Newcastle Stormy Night. And it is supposed to be finished onto a journal. So I literally am stitching this in the middle of the fabric just to make sure that I have enough fabric. So I added in several lines of the writing while the last time I stitched, which was pretty much the last time I was at the not this last time, but the time before that, when I was at the library. And I changed the pattern slightly. It's supposed to say Dream Journal volume number 4, and I changed it to say my name. That way, if I don't get any of the other ones, it would still make sense. This is a huge piece of fabric, and I anticipate having plenty of extra that I can use for like some smalls, but I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of fabric to do the journal the way that it should be done. So there's that. That one, I'm like halfway through the words, and once I get done with the words, then I will move over and do this part, and then she will be the last thing I do. And I am stitching this with Blue Spruce by Gentle Arts Sampler Threads, and it's just a really pretty dark green that I thought looked really good with the silvery grayish tone of the fabric. So there's that. And moving on, the next one that I have given quite a bit of love to, because I really want to get this one done. And there we go. Okay. Is Caterpillar Cross Stitch How Does Your Garden Grow? And this one was initially released as a stitch along. I did not get it then. I got it much after the fact. So I have added quite a bit of stitching. Oh, there it is. To this. I've added the rest of the pumpkins, because the pumpkins were not finished, so I added in that and their little stems and leaves. The strawberries I added in, I think, this set of strawberries along with their leafy tops, and then I added in all this lettuce, the handles to the garden tools I added in, the stems of the sunflowers. I added in the cherry tomato plant right here, and I added in the gnome guy. I know I added in his shirt, his hands and face, his beard, and his hat, which are not quite done yet, but they are getting there. And I came down here and started in on this little snail guy. And yeah. So I've actually added quite a bit of stitching into this one. And I kind of want to get this done because I kind of want it to be one of the pieces that I display when we move into an RV. Because that is my goals within the next 6 months, is to do that, to move in full time into an RV. I guess it would be, about, I think I have 8 months to get that accomplished before I would have to renew my lease. And we really don't want to renew the lease. We want to be out and not paying the insane amount of money for rent that we pay. So that I paid for a long time on my own, and then yeah. So that is the plan. Let's see. Next up is this one from the Jingle Ball, the first one that they did. I am actually doing the cover one, and let's see. And that is what I've gotten done. So I have the large bell done, and I've started in on the middle size bell, which is going to be right here, and then the little bell will be over here. And this is all stitching. There's no beads on that, so if you are not familiar with the pattern. This is a Satsuma street pattern, and most of hers have beads and stuff, and this one does not. It is all cross stitches. And I'm doing 2/1 on 18 count perforated paper. I think it's coming, it's really, really pretty. I had started it for 12 by 12, and I didn't have much of a start at all. But it went really fast once I really started stitching on it. So the next time that I pick it up, I will probably finish the medium bell, and then we'll see how that goes as far as if I will finish the small bell at the same time. So there is that. That was just kind of a random, I'm going to pick this up and start working on this type of thing. I think it was kind of I should work on something Christmassy in July. Because I've been stitching on a lot of Halloween-y type things. So I'm like, I should stitch on something that is kind of Christmassy for Christmas in July. So that was my Christmassy stitch. The next thing that I worked on, and I gave this one a couple nights. There's the picture. I have it in here funky, so I'm trying not to show the pattern, but I had it in there kind of funky. I have it like folded backwards, I think. There it is. So this is Haunted Mansion by Bendy Stitchy, and I started this one as a starts along with my friend Melissa. We both chose purpley fabrics. I know that I adjusted a few of the colors to make it look right on the color that I chose. I'm not sure. I think she did too, but not as much as I did, because I know that I helped her pick out a couple colors. And this one, again, I need to pull my needle through so that that's not on the edge or showing on the, there we go. Alrighty, so this is where I'm at. I have the house really close to being done. I just have like this little part right here left to stitch. And I added in the tombstones on this side and the little hat on the ghosty. And I started working this way. And I really don't have that much left to do on it. This is on 18 count Marlowe from my Vintage Needle Arts. And I'm already telling that I'm not gonna like this camera. I feel like the picture isn't very clear. If you're watching and you notice anything, leave me a comment below, because I'm what I'm seeing on the screen isn't always the same thing as what you guys see, so yeah, I feel like it's not as clear as it could be. And it might have something to do with the brightness. That might be playing a little bit of a factor. Okay. On to the next. This one I picked up and started working on. I think I started working on this from a prompt from Stitching by the Shore, from Lola, from the I See challenge thing. I can't remember what she calls it, but the challenge that she does on Facebook. I think I picked it up for that, and I don't remember what the prompt was that I was going with, but I don't know. But this is from Just Cross Stitch Halloween Magazine 2022, and it is Apothecary. This one has spent a little bit of time in timeout, and so when I took it out of timeout and finally frogged everything I needed to frog, I did stitch quite a bit on it. So at this point, I don't have that much. I have a little bit left of this teal bottle up here, and I have the fill-in from these a little bit, but I'm almost to the point where I need to make a choice as to what metallic color I'm going to use. It calls for a metallic Krynic Topaz is what it calls for. I'm thinking I'm just going to pick up some DMC metallic. I'm not sure. And I'm thinking maybe like a bronzy color would look cool. Or maybe a silvery. Because if I do silver, like a silver tone, I'm thinking, because there's supposed to be a spider web that goes from the P in Potions across to the bottles with like a spider hanging down from it. I'm thinking that would look cool if I did the spider web backstitching with the metallic. I just haven't had a chance to pick up any metallic thread. So this project has kind of been on hold until I decide on that. And I am using the called for colors, and this is on 14 count. I'm not sure. I think this might be just one of the generic fabrics from Amazon, but I'm not entirely sure. I honestly don't remember. But it is on 14 count, and it's like a taupe kind of color fabric, kind of a putty taupey color. But I really like this, and I'm hoping to finish it relatively soon. This one could be a fairly quick finish once I decide on a metallic color to highlight the labels on the bottles, and the little drop labels here, and of course that spider web. So that one could see a finish if I ever get around to getting some metallic thread. Let's see. The next thing that I've worked on, and I don't know if I've showed this either, but the project bag I have this in is one I stitched this last year for 12 by 12. I started this and finished it. It is a waxy moon design, and if you can't stir with the big girls, stay away from the cauldron. So this is my Halloween bag. So it is only fitting that I have, and I'm hoping that I can cut this together properly because it just like stopped recording on me. I have the Tiny Modernist Stitch Witch in this bag. And if you have watched my videos before, you know that this one I've also had a love-hate relationship with, because the fabric that I had chosen to do it on, which I thought was a beautiful fabric for it, was labeled as an 18 count, but it is actually a 14 count. So I cut it as an 18 count to where, I'd have, 2 to 3 inches of space on the outside. And then I started stitching on it and discovered that no, this is a 14 count. And because I don't stitch a lot on 14 count, I'm trying to use up what I do have a 14 count because I just don't enjoy stitching on 14 count. I like 18 count. And like 18 count, 20 counts I like. And 36 count, 40 counts, and higher. So yeah, there's that. But I have taken it out recently and gave her some love. Let's see. So I added in her sleeves and her face, and then I added in the green. So this side didn't have the roof stitched in, so I added in this whole green part here, and I only had to like here of this vine, so I added in all this vine. So I'm probably going to give this one a little bit more time before I put this one away for a little while as well. So I think she's coming along nicely. I've measured this a couple times, and I believe if I stitch the entire pattern that it gives me about a ½ inch all the way around, which is enough space for me because I think she will probably end up being a project bag because the Stitch Witch makes sense to be a project bag, I guess. Plus, I really like turning them into something that I'm going to use. So there's that. And this is My Vintage Needle Arts. I'm not sure what color it is, but it's a really pretty color. I really like it, and she really looks good on it. Like, it even makes her skin tone, this grayish skin tone, it even makes her skin tone, like, you can see it. So I like it, and I've been stitching on it. I stitched on it. That was like 1 day of stitching. Because I stitched on this at the library this last weekend, and then when I got home from the library, I continued stitching on it for that night before I put it to the side. And so I gave it about a day of stitching. And I mean, it's going fairly quickly when I stitch on it. The last thing I have to show you for whips is the Lola Crow Deadly Aquarium. And I do not have a cover sheet of the most recent, but I'm sure that you've probably seen it on other Flosstubers channels or on Instagram or anything like that. So the Deadly Aquarium, and I am not caught up. Oh, geez, I keep having the needle on the outside. Let me pull that to the back. As you can tell, I'm super prepared. So, this is where I'm at. And I've added a lot to this. I've added the pufferfish. I finished all the green, except for there's a little bit of green over here that I figured I'd pick up as I was adding in those colors down here. So I pretty much finished this part, except for the back stitching. I think I have one color to add in, like right over here. So not this week's, but the week before that, she added in this fish and a fish down here, something like that. And then this week she added in more stuff that goes in this generator. There's like a shark here and like, yeah. So I have been stitching on it fairly consistently, but I don't think I'm too concerned about trying to keep up with it. I was I was trying to challenge myself to see if I could stay on it, but life happened and that's just not going to happen. So it is what it is. I do plan on continuing to work on it. I haven't stopped working on it. I stitched on it. I stitch on it a few times a week. However long I get to stitch on it on those days that I pull it out and stitch on it. Oh, and that is on 20 count turquoise by My Vintage Needle Arts. So that wraps up my whips that I've worked on over the last month or so. So I have a few patterns that I have acquired. A couple of them I purchased on Etsy. Mama Witch X Stitch had a sale, like a 40 or 45% off sale a few weeks ago. And so I picked up a bunch, well, not a bunch, I picked up 4 patterns, and I think the most I spent on any of them was like $4. So this is what I picked up because I had to print them. I picked up Midnight Swimming, and if you watch my videos, you probably know why I picked this one up. Then I picked up Strawberry Ghost, and I just thought that was super cute. And as you can tell, I've been in the mood to stitch like Halloween-y things. Let's see. And then I picked up Pizza Buddy, which again, I just think is super cute, and it's very much me because I survive on pizza. So this one I kind of gravitated to because it is very much me. This one, honestly, out of the 4 that I got, this one will probably be the first one that I work on because it is very much me. So there's that. And then I think this one was the most expensive one out of the 4. And I don't know why it printed sideways for my cover sheet, but it did. And this one is Be Happy. Which I just thought was really pretty, and I really like it on that black fabric. Because I like bees, so there's that. So I picked up those 4. And then I picked up some Lola Crow, some of her older patterns, and some of like her smaller older patterns that she's done. So the first one is Weird Things in Mason Jars. And this is from 2021. So there's like tentacles, there's eyeballs, and there's frogs. And I just think those are really, really cute. And I would totally stitch those on the black fabric because it looks really cool. I think I'm committing myself to doing a bunch of black fabric stuff. The next one is Narcissus the Crow. And I really like the bluish toned fabric that it's stitched on. So I might have to look for something similar to stitch that on, because I really like how that looks. Or maybe like a similar fabric but in like a green tone to make it look like it's like in like a field or something. I like that. The next one is Moonlight Mushrooms. This is a 2022 pattern. And Lola Crow is the one that is doing the Deadly Aquarium, in case you were trying to make the connection. And then I have Merry Mole. He kind of goes along with the Creepy Christmas ornament collection, which I have as well, but I did not print them because there's a lot of color on the cover sheets and I need ink. I'm running out of magenta, so I need to restock my ink before I print those out. But those are all super cute, and I am really wanting to start a couple of those, but I have a lot of things to do before then, and I'm trying to cut down on my whips. I know I went through a phase of I don't care, I'm going to just start everything, but now I am, like I said, like 6 months out from wanting to move into RV life full time, and so I need to condense some of my stuff, and cutting back on how many whips I have will help me do that for that aspect of my life. What I'm going to do with all of these books, I don't know. Probably end up in storage. Some stuff I will make a point of figuring out how to get some books into my RV. But I already know that a lot of these will end up in storage. They also may end up in my classroom. It's hard telling. So there's that. So that is all I have to share with you. Before I leave, I will talk a minute about some of the floss tubes I've been watching recently. I have not really watched anything new. I really haven't watched a whole lot of floss tubes recently, honestly. A lot of my consistent floss tube people that I watch just keep stitching. I watch them almost every week. Let's see. Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. I watched her most recent one where she announced that she wasn't going to do floss tubes anymore, which I think made perfect sense. The way that she explained it. It's not like she's not doing videos. She's just not calling them floss tubes. But I hadn't actually watched a lot of her videos recently, so yeah, whatever. Let's see, what else I watched. Welcome Stitchery. They are one that I watch consistently, but not every time they put out a video, I guess. I watched Helen D. Two Needles Pulling Thread. Let's see. Who else have I watched recently? Stitching by the Shore. Let's see. I think those are the ones I've watched most recently. But yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Flosstube just simply because I've been really busy. So yeah, those are a few that I've watched recently. So if you haven't watched those, go check them out. Yeah, so if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Leave me a comment about the quality of the video, I guess. I'm a little concerned about that with this new camera that I've gotten. Yeah, so if you've subscribed, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe. I do plan on doing videos a little bit more frequently than, you know, a month or so out. My normal plan is to do every 2 weeks, but I know life gets in the way, so it is what it is. But I'm hoping to get back onto an every 2 week thing. Yeah. Tomorrow starts school. I'm teaching 10th and 11th grade English. So yeah, there's that. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys in about 2 weeks, give or take. And I hope that you continue stitching. Have a great day.